When we think of healthy streams, we often picture clean water and aquatic life. But what protects all of that is often overlooked: the plants along the water's edge. This stream bank vegetation, or buffer, reduces erosion, filters pollution, and creates wildlife habitat. In this video, we'll walk you through how to plan and plant your own buffer, from assessing your site to choosing plants, to designing a layout that works for your land. Before you plant, start with a site assessment. Look at your stream bank or shoreline. Is the soil stable, or is erosion cutting away at the bank? Is turf grass mowed right to the water's edge? That setup often leads to more erosion and stormwater runoff. When turf grass is maintained all the way to the water, its shallow roots do little to hold soil in place. During heavy rain, that bare, compacted edge acts like a slide, sending soil, fertilizer, and other pollutants straight into the stream. Working that land right to the edge removes nature's built-in protection zone. Eroding stream banks don't just harm the water. They also take away your land over time, shrinking your usable property and lowering its value. If you use only rock or hard structures like riprap, it does not fix the problem. While those may hold soil temporarily, they don't absorb or slow down water. The real solution is living roots, deep, flexible, and active. Vegetation binds soil together, breaks up rainfall energy, and filters runoff before it reaches the stream. Without plants, the force of moving water simply shifts the problem downstream. Rock and mechanical barriers can complement vegetation, but they should never replace it. Next, take note of any existing native plants. Keeping what's already adapted to the site saves money and builds on natural resilience. Working with what you already have can also mean recognizing valuable native plants that are often overlooked. Native woody vines, like clematis and American groundnut, can play an important role in streamside systems, climbing through existing vegetation, stabilizing soil, and supporting pollinators. When these species are already present and not causing damage, they can be an asset rather than something to remove. Also look for invasive species like English ivy, privet, or kudzu. Removing those will be an important first step. Finally, think about your visual objectives. Do you want privacy, or do you want to frame a view of the water? These questions will help shape your planting decisions. When planning your buffer, space is the first factor. Regardless the size of your property, if it borders a stream, it benefits from a vegetated strip. In Georgia, a minimum of 25 feet is required from the water's edge and 50 feet on trout streams. If your project is bigger than just adding a few native plants, say you're grading a slope or bringing in machinery, you'll likely need special approval. Start by checking with your county or city planning office, often called the local issuing authority. They'll tell you if you're fine to proceed or if you'll need to apply for a variance through the Environmental Protection Division. For most homeowners, planting native vegetation doesn't require a permit. But when in doubt, ask locally first. It can save you time, money, and headaches later. Next, think about how you'll use the space. Low-growing plants can frame a scenic view. Taller woody plants can provide privacy. Designate only a narrow access path for walking, fishing, swimming, or boating. Zigzagging or mulched footpaths help prevent erosion. A well-planned buffer has layers. The layers are important for ensuring diversity and are divided into zones. Zone 1 is closest to the water and is made up of flood-tolerant species and native trees. Zone 2 is made up of shrubs and small trees. Zone 3, further upland, should contain herbaceous plants and shrubs and/or small trees. Using those guidelines, the next thing to consider is creating a plant list. Plant selection follows the principle right plant, right place. Match species to sunlight, soil, and moisture requirements. Strive for an assortment, a mixture of trees, shrubs, grasses, and wildflowers to provide year-round interest and habitat. Two standouts are buttonbush with its globe-shaped white blooms that add visual interest, and elderberry, which offers clusters of flowers in spring and berries for wildlife later in the season. Other great options include willows, summer sweet clethra, viburnum, and swamp sunflower. Species like boneset, goldenrod, mountain mint, oakleaf hydrangea, and milkweed provide nectar, pollen, and habitat for beneficial insects, often right along the water's edge. These plants bring movement and life into the buffer while strengthening the ecological function of the stream bank. While the plants featured here are recommended for North Georgia, they represent a diverse selection of species suited to streamside conditions. Be sure to tailor your plant list to your specific region and site conditions. Remember, diversity strengthens the system against floods, pests, and disease. Once you know what to plant, the next step is finding good sources for native plants. Many local nurseries now carry native selections, and your county extension office can point you towards reliable suppliers. A great online resource is the Georgia Native Plant Society website. They host a statewide list of nurseries and easy-to-use plant sources search engine where you can look up plants by region. The State Botanical Garden of Georgia also has a list of native plant nurseries and hosts educational events and plant sales. Neighborhood plant sales, master gardener events, and Native Plant Society sales are excellent places to find healthy, locally adapted material. Sourcing plants locally supports growers who are protecting Georgia's natural heritage and gives your buffer a strong start with species already adapted to the local soils and climate. Planting in the fall gives the highest survival rate because cooler weather reduces stress. Space plants so they can grow to maturity. Use mulch to protect bare soil. At first, larger plants may cost more, but they outcompete weeds and withstand stress better. Make sure to protect young trees with cages from deer browsing. For a larger project, consider live stakes. Simple cuttings of willow, dogwood, and elderberry could be driven into the bank. They root directly into the soil, where their growing root systems bind soil together and quickly stabilize stream edges as new vegetation becomes established. A stream bank vegetation buffer is more than just a line of plants. It's protection for your property, a filter for clean water, and habitat for pollinators and wildlife. By carefully looking at your site, planning a purposeful layout, and planting the right species, you can create a buffer that's both functional and beautiful. With time, your streamside will thrive, protecting your land, your water, and your community for years to come.